Since its opening on April 6, 1956, the Capitol Tower, along with the Hollywood sign, have been the definitive landmarks of Hollywood. Located just 1 block north of the famous corner of Hollywood and Vine, it is the world's first round office building. The legend is that singer Nat King Cole and songwriter Johnny Mercer suggested that the record company's headquarters should look like a stack of 45 records. Architect Wilton Beckett claimed he just wanted to design a structure that economized space, and in so doing, he created the world's first cylindrical office building, not a stack of records. However, his needle-shaped spire on the top only convinced the locals that there was now a needle to play the record. When it opened, the building provided the first consolidated offices for Capitol Records. The company was formed by songwriter Johnny Mercer, Buddy DeSilva, songwriter and executive at Paramount Pictures, along with Glenn Wallach, the owner of Wallach's Music City. The tower is actually a complex of buildings, with 2 smaller buildings located at the corner of Vine Street and Franklin, the actual tower rising just to the south. It is at the north end of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where you can find the stars of such famous performers as Charles Lawton, Lloyd Nolan, Roy Rogers, and 3 of the Beatles. Since Capitol Records deals with a very select clientele, the world's most famous recording artists, the building is not often seen by people outside the recording industry. In honor of the 50th anniversary of the Hollywood Walk of Fame, EMI, which owns Capitol Records, opened the building lobby and recording studios to the public for the very first time. On Sunday, July 25, 2010, I joined the crowd lining up to see the studios, to see where so much of my music history was made. The crowd formed outside the tower and filled the parking lot next door, since only a small group of visitors could be taken into the studios at a time. The crowd was quite friendly, and everybody enjoyed looking at the building exterior and the Walk of Fame. As we waited, we got a close-up view of the mural painted on the south wall of the Capitol Recording Studio. The mural was painted in 1990 by L.A. artist Richard Wyatt and is called Hollywood Jazz, 1945 to 1972. While it is not in very good shape today, you can still see the outlines of Charlie Parker, Tito Puente, Miles Davis, Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole, Shelley Mann, Billie Holiday, and Duke Ellington. It's a shame these faces have not been restored and have in fact been allowed to reach this deplorable state. We also got to look at the tower close up. The tower was Hollywood's first air-conditioned high-rise office building and is 150 feet tall with 13 stories, the maximum height allowed for a commercial building in the city of Los Angeles at the time. Each floor is 90 feet in diameter, except the second floor, which has a diameter of only 78 feet, to make the other floors seem to float. Unfortunately, the screen above the entrance hides this effect for me, but it is there. The lobby, which controls access to the tower, is filled with gold and platinum records and awards for many of the famous recordings which were made here.
This is very much a very active working building. We have our offices on the floors above, but the studios we have 3 studios down below, which are booked night and day, 7 days a week. We just didn't book any sessions today, so we can get you people in. But it's very, very much an active studio. We get artists like John Mayer was just here. Taylor Swift was here last week recording. Green Day did American Idiot here. Barbara Streisand did her last album here. Josh Groban is in the studio all the time now. So, you know, once people come in, once artists come in and record in Capitol, they tend to want to come back. They love the sound. We call it the Capitol sound.
The studios are located slightly below ground. The hallway to the studios is a ramp which circles behind the lobby and down. There are 3 studios, A, B, and C. Studio A and B can be combined into one large room. The studios are constantly in use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Studio C is a small room used for small groups, narrations, and solo recordings. Here, in Studio B, are the Hammond organ and the piano Nat King Cole played with the King Cole Trio. The organ is autographed by Billy Preston, who is one of only 2 people who received billing with the Beatles on their recordings. He is known as the 5th Beatle, and he actually played this organ at age 11 on a recording with Nat King Cole.
So this is, again, the setup that Nat would have had. He played a lot of his sessions at a studio we had on Melrose in the 40s. But you know, he finished his career here, and this is where the piano lives today. So again, the same type of setup. And then this room itself, over the years, has recorded things in the '70s. It was like Steve Miller, the Joker, recorded in here. In the '80s, we did stuff with MC Hammer and Bonnie Raitt in here. So this room, when it's closed off, which that wall closes, is kind of comfortable for a rock band to set up in. It's just just enough space for a bass and drums. There's a booth up there that acts as a lounge and also an isolation booth.
For the first recording in the studio, Frank Sinatra conducted the orchestra.
The first session itself was next door. And then in here, we've done all types of sessions. Again, Jump, Jive, and Wail, that type of stuff. A lot of Louis Prima was in here. Nat did Lazy, Hazy, Crazy Days of Summer in here, all that type of stuff. So this room again is very indicative. And if you watch the movie The Rat Pack, which HBO did maybe 10 years back, that was all shot in here.
The studios were built on a base of asphalt and cork to remove the vibrations from the traffic outside. They are in a concrete box set inside the soundproofed outer walls of the tower. The studio walls are fitted with wood and padded panel, which can be adjusted to absorb or reflect the sounds being recorded. 2 echo chambers, or tunnels, are dug under the rear parking lot and marked by these white circles. Here, the sound can be sent to speakers in each tunnel. A microphone picks up the sound at the end of the tunnel, producing a true echo effect, much better than the electronic reverberation effect used in most other recordings. Here you can hear the sound as the echo is added and removed.
That's what it sounded like if you were just sounding in the chamber.
Sing, 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 everybody.
In Studio A is a setup preferred by Dean Martin for his recordings.
So this is Frank Sinatra's microphone, chair, and a vocal setup, much like you would have had. Now, cover your ears, kids. He had cigarettes out there and some Jack Daniels usually, but he also liked Cherry Lifesavers, Tootsie Rolls, and so he always had that kind of set out there for a vocal setup. And he did most of the big band songs in here. We'll play one right now that he did.
I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow.
Finally, this is the control room in Studio A, equipped with some of the controls dated back to 1956, along with the latest computerized systems.
State-of-the-art wise, would you say this is the top dog in the country right here
Yes.
for this board?
Yes. That being said, this is not a new console.
So you keep updating it and
No. This one sounds good. So we keep it. But yeah, the great part about it here is it's a great mix of old and new. I mean, you saw the old microphones out there. I mean, those are we use those every day.
those are carbon or
The 44s?
The 44s are ribbon mics. Yeah. The 47s, I mean, I can tell you, this vocal that you're hearing now was recorded on that mic, the same one that Frank used. We use this stuff all the time. So, I mean, I have, technology from last week in this computer, and I have technology from the 50s.
Because the biggest recording artist at Capitol at the time was Nat King Cole, the tower has often been called the house that Nat built. However, fame is fleeting. In 1962, towards the end of his career, Nat returned from Europe and called the tower to hear
Capitol Records, home of the Beatles.
He said, "This is Nat Cole. May I speak to Alan Livingston?" And the voice asked,
Who's calling?
You wish that summer could always be here. You wish that summer could always be here. You wish that summer could always